things just got more interesting. The shrill wail of police sirens cut through the hum of the airport terminal within 5 minutes, sharp and unmissable, making every head turn toward our little cluster of chaos. Karen's face paled so fast it looked like all the blood had drained from her veins in an instant, her hands dropping from her hips to clutch at Kevin's arms so hard the boy whimpered and tried to pull away. Kevin's eyes were wide as saucers, darting between the approaching police officers, the red-faced camp teacher holding her stinging cheek, and me, his tiny body trembling like a leaf in a storm. I stood my ground in front of Lily, my arm wrapped tight around her small shoulders, her face buried in my side, safe and shielded from the madness unfolding in front of us. Lily hadn't made a sound since Karen first opened her mouth at the gate, just clung to me, and I pressed a soft kiss to the top of her head, whispering that it was all okay, that no one was going to hurt her. Karen, for all her big talk, crumpled the second the cops stepped close, her bluster evaporating into thin air like steam from a boiling pot. "Officers, you have to help me," she shrieked, pointing a shaking finger at me, her voice cracking like a dry twig. "This woman attacked me. She slapped me twice, unprovoked, and her bodyguard threatened me with a vicious dog earlier today. She's a dangerous person, and she's raising her daughter to be just as rude. My son kissed her daughter once, so now they're engaged, and she's trying to keep my future daughter-in-law from me. She's stealing my family's future." Her words tumbled out in a hysterical jumble, so fast and so nonsensical that the two police officers exchanged a confused glance, one of them pulling out a notepad and pen, the other stepping toward the camp teacher first, his tone gentle and calm. "Ma'am, can you tell us what happened here, step by step?" he asked, his eyes on her red, tear-streaked cheek. The teacher nodded, her voice still shaky but steady enough to speak, and she told them everything: how Karen had shown up at the airport uninvited, how she'd demanded Lily kneel to her, how I'd defended my daughter and slapped Karen after she'd insulted us both, how Karen had then slapped her for trying to intervene. She pulled out her phone and showed them the string of messages Karen had sent in the class group chat, the demands for my address, the rants about being Lily's mother-in-law, the threats to discipline my 5-year-old daughter. The officer with the notepad scribbled furiously, his brow furrowed, and then he turned to Karen, his expression hardening. "And you, ma'am, what's your side of this?" he asked. Karen sputtered, trying to backtrack, her lies falling apart the second she opened her mouth. I was just trying to talk to my future daughter-in-law. She's being raised wrong, spending $10,000 on a summer camp, wasting money that's going to be my son's one day. I was only trying to teach her manners. She hit me first, I swear it. And that teacher, she took her side, she pushed me, so I just touched her cheek, that's all." Kevin, who'd been quiet until then, piped up, his voice small and scared. "Mommy hit the lady first. She told Lily to kneel down." Lily cried. Karen's head snapped around, and she glared at him. "Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about." But the damage was done. The officers heard him, loud and clear, and the one with the notepad closed it with a snap. "Ma'am, you're being charged with assault for slapping the teacher, and we're issuing a trespassing warning and a harassment notice for your ongoing behavior toward this mother and daughter," he said, pulling a form out of his pocket. "You need to leave the airport immediately, and you are not to contact Ms. my last name, or her daughter in any way. No calls, no texts, no group chat messages, no showing up at their home or the kindergarten. If you violate this notice, you'll be arrested and face criminal charges. Do you understand?" Karen's mouth fell open, and she let out a scream. A high, keening sound that made Lily flinch. "This is a travesty. You're all biased. She's a rich snob buying off the police. My son deserves that girl. She's his." The officer grabbed her arm, not roughly but firmly, and started leading her toward the exit, Kevin trailing behind them, crying, "I want ice cream. I don't want to leave." Karen struggled, kicking and screaming, but it was no use. She was being escorted out, her grand delusions of being a rich mother-in-law crumbling around her. Before she disappeared around the corner, she twisted around and locked eyes with me, her gaze filled with pure, unadulterated hatred, and she mouthed a single word: revenge. I didn't flinch. I dealt with worse than Karen, and a petty, delusional woman with a grudge was the last thing I was afraid of. The camp teacher thanked me profusely, wiping her tears and apologizing for the trouble, and I told her it was no fault of hers, that Karen was clearly unwell, and that I'd be speaking to the kindergarten administration about her behavior as soon as we got back from camp. The teachers at the summer camp, who'd witnessed the entire ordeal, came over to check on Lily and me, reassuring us that we were safe, that they'd have extra staff on hand to make sure no one bothered us during the camp, and that they'd be in touch if Karen tried to contact the camp in any way. I smiled and thanked them, and then I took Lily's hand, grabbed our luggage, and walked her toward the gate, the weight of Karen's madness lifting a little with every step. Lily finally lifted her head from my side, her big eyes looking up at me. "Mommy, why did that lady say I have to marry Kevin? I don't like Kevin. He hits kids and pulled my hair once." I knelt down to her level, cupping her face in my hands, and I looked her straight in the eyes, my voice soft but firm. "Because that lady is very confused, baby," I said. "She has silly ideas in her head, and none of them are true. You never have to marry anyone you don't like, ever. Not Kevin, not anyone. You get to choose who your friends are, who you like, who you love, when you're all grown up. And no one, gets to tell you how to act, or what to do, or who to be. Not that lady, not anyone. Okay?" Lily nodded, her small hand patting my cheek. "Okay, Mommy." And the dog scared her. That was funny. I laughed, a real warm laugh, and I hugged her tight. It was pretty funny, wasn't it? We boarded the plane a little while later, Lily falling asleep on my lap halfway to the camp's location, a small, peaceful smile on her face, and I stared out the window at the clouds, thinking that was the end of it. That Karen would get the message, that she'd back off, that we could go to camp, have a nice summer, summer and forget all about the crazy woman who thought her son owned my daughter. I was wrong. So terribly, horribly wrong. The summer camp was everything Lily had hoped it would be. Sunny days by the lake, arts and crafts, nature hikes, swimming lessons, making new friends. She came alive there, running around with the other kids, her laughter echoing through the campgrounds, and for 2 glorious weeks, I barely thought about Karen. I'd checked the kindergarten class group chat a few times, and it was quiet. No messages from Karen, just other parents sharing photos of their kids' summer adventures, the teacher updating everyone on the plans for the new school year. I'd blocked Karen on every social media platform, every messaging app, and my bodyguard had been instructed to keep a closer eye on the house, just in case, but there were no signs of her. No strange cars outside, no unwanted knocks on the door, no more demands for money or apologies. I let my guard down foolishly and enjoyed the time with my daughter, savoring the peace and quiet, the lack of chaos. It was a mistake that would cost me dearly. We came home from camp on a Sunday evening, tired but happy, our suitcases filled with Lily's artwork and souvenirs, our hearts light. The house was quiet, the garden calm, and I thought we'd slip back into our normal routine without a hitch. But when we walked through the front door, the first thing I noticed was that the lock on the front door was jiggled, the metal scratched and dented, like someone had tried to pick it. My stomach dropped, and I pushed Lily behind me, grabbing the baseball that I kept by the door for emergencies, my heart pounding in my chest. "Stay behind me, baby. Don't make a sound," I whispered, and Lily nodded, her small hand clutching my leg. I walked through the house slowly, room by room, the bat raised, my eyes scanning every corner, and everything was in place. No furniture overturned, no valuables missing, no signs of someone being inside. But then I saw it, on the kitchen counter, a crumpled piece of paper, held down by a rock that had clearly been thrown through the kitchen window. The glass was cracked, a small spiderweb of damage spreading from the center. I set the bat down, still keeping Lily close, and picked up the paper, my hands shaking as I read the messy, scrawled handwriting. It was Karen's, no doubt about it. "You thought you could get rid of me? Think again. You took my son's future from me. You humiliated me in front of the police, in front of the whole school. I don't forget, and I don't forgive. Your little princess isn't safe, not anywhere. I know where you live. I know where she goes to school. I know everything about you. I'll make you pay for what you did. I'll make you regret ever crossing me and my son. The fun is just beginning." There was no signature, but I didn't need one. I knew exactly who it was from. I pulled out my phone and called the police immediately, reporting the attempted break-in, the cracked window, the threatening note, and I told them about the harassment notice they'd issued Karen, about her violation of it. They said they'd send an officer over right away, that they'd look into it, that they'd try to track Karen down, but I could hear the hesitation in their voice. Harassment cases were tricky, especially with someone as unhinged as Karen, and unless she did something truly violent, there was only so much they could do. The off.